Good morning, everybody. How are we? Sorry, good afternoon in the Netherlands, but morning in the UK. How you doing, Simon?
Good morning, gents. I'm good, thanks. Yeah, just sorry I haven't got my Spurs top on today. I've got my Teesside Lions basketball repping today because after this I'm straight off to the Eston Arena to watch local derbies, our equivalent of North London Derby today. So we're playing a team that we're gonna thrash. So
who's that?
Tees Valley Mohawks.
Okay.
Mohawks. What a stupid name.
Mohawks. Don't say that to the Red Indians. That's not a stupid name.
I know. Yeah. But it's not the most common one. But we love being, and we were both unbeaten up until last week, and then they lost against another team. So
okay.
Coming into this with advantage us, but then they've got the whole bounce back thing, haven't they? So it's just like, oh, he's going to win. It's going to be tasty.
Yeah, a little bit like Leicester. Anyway, so let's talk about that absolute. Not allowed to swear just yet. Load of old tosh yesterday.
Crapshoot.
Yes. Yeah. So let's bring up the lineup. Bentancur's son and 9 spineless so-called football players. It was quite funny actually. The first half, just before we scored, the new Danish guy who plays for Leicester, he cleared a ball off the line and he was like, yeah. And then the next thing, he's knocking the ball to Bentancur for him to score our first. And I thought, this is going to be a good day.
He didn't know much about that clearance anyway. Like, he went to kick it away and it hit his thigh before he could get his leg up. And he's just like whacking the back of the net, like, yeah, come on, I'm the best defender in the world. And then literally 2 minutes later, he's like, yeah, watch me set up Bentancur. There you go, mate. Whatever, mate. Get over yourself.
Yeah, he's from Copenhagen. What can you say? I'm from the mainland. So. But we thought we'd won it after that.
Yeah, I didn't think so. I mean, like, I looked at the lineup and I thought, what? Why? Just why? Like, I've never been Wales' biggest fan, but let's be honest, he was man of the match last week, and then they drop him for Tanganga, which
for Porro,
bizarre, and then put Porro straight in. I don't know what you thought about Porro coming straight in. I thought it's a bit risky that, like, straight in.
Well, you've got to blood them, and playing against these mid-table teams, it's as good a chance as any. But I was thinking yesterday, why do we make these mid-table teams look world-class? And then I was thinking to myself, well, we're actually going to be mid-table soon if we continue playing like that.
Well, that's the thing. And, like, we didn't play worse than them, but we played like them. Their passing accuracy was diabolical. Christensen was putting passes out for throw-ins that were simple passes, but then so was Ben Davies, and it's just like, well, are we the same as them? Because I thought we'd won it. I thought we'd just do solid, but then I looked at the defence and I'm like, this is just going to be another classic, Tottenham Leicester game where there's goals aplenty. It'll be entertaining for people watching, but not from a Spurs fan point of view, because we've got a very, very leaky defence. So they are bound to score. As crap as they are bound to score. Yeah. And then we'll get, like, Sonny will get a brace, or Harry Kane will get a brace, and we've got Bentancur scoring and all that kind of stuff. We'll be fine. Even when they equalised, I thought, we'll be fine. It's fine.
Yeah. So Eric Dyer,
get out of our club.
Should be there to inspire the people who he plays next to. Tanganga needs someone who inspires or can give him confidence. Was it the third goal? That header that he missed? And we've given him, what, a 4-year contract?
You just watched it go over him.
Exactly.
What did he think? Like Forza had it or something? Like there was obviously no call, so no, he hasn't got it. So don't leave it.
Yeah.
Like and even like bloody was it Iheanacho's goal? I think he went towards him to close him down. And
hands behind his back, not actually closing him down, not actually trying to tackle him.
Yeah, just stop. Why stop? You know, what are you thinking? And just gave him all the time in the world. Exactly. He could have had a cup of tea and a fag stood there while I was watching him. Like, what are you doing? Tackle him. Yeah. He's outside the bloody penalty area still. You're not going to give away a penalty.
Yeah.
What is the bloke doing? He's so slow. And he's so like, I know
he's got his feet under the table, hasn't he? And he's thinking, this is good. I don't really need to try anymore.
Conte hasn't got the balls to get rid of him just because he's been there so long. Like it wouldn't work in any other frigging like workplace, would it?
No.
You know, he's doing a job that he's not good enough for. Get rid of him. Simple as that.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's complicated? There's not going to be a massive uproar. I don't. Just beggars belief. Like, bring back Stellini for crying out loud.
Yeah, well, I have to say another player who I thought had an absolute stinker, and I think that the left side of our defence at the moment is cursed, was Perisic. Yeah.
There's a couple of warning signs early on, wasn't there? Like, he just really... His attitude was all wrong. There's balls that he could have made that he didn't, and tackles he lost that he should have won, and all this kind of stuff. And he was a far cry from the player who was, did a decent job up front.
Absolutely. Yep.
And then switched a couple of weeks back, and then switched back in defence and had a good game. We know what he's capable of, and I don't know why he was playing like he was playing yesterday. It's a bit weird. I don't know what's gone on there.
He's coming to the end of his cycle, isn't he? 34 years old. He's come to Spurs. Nice payday. Easy day out. I was really hopeful that he was still going to be, the player that he used to be, but he's not anymore. And I really can't wait for that Udogie guy to turn up next season. But then again, if Conte's not there, is he really going to want to play? Is he going to play? Because are we going to play wing backs? Because how many teams in the top at the top level play wing backs these days? There's very, very few.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, that's all depends on what happens this season, doesn't it? All of that has permutations on what we end up with at the end of the season. And I hope to God it's the FA Cup. And I hope to God let's not get this. Let's not blow this up out of proportion. It's where we are on the table. And Newcastle drew yesterday. The teams around us did us a favour yesterday.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I commented on the post on Facebook. How can we be consistent? How can we produce consistent results like we need to, especially trying to get into that top four, when you completely change the back four? Yeah. Like you can't be consistent. It's not logical. It's not fair on like Royale. I don't know why was he dropped. I don't even know. Like he would have bossed that at least that right hand side, half of that right hand side.
Well, that's Harvey Barnes, isn't it? And that was the player we needed to stop. So
exactly. Yeah. And I don't know where Cooley was yesterday. Did he even play? I don't know. Like,
God, he was absolutely awful.
Like what happened?
I don't know. I really, really don't know. As I say on the ticker below, Bentancur and Son. A lot of people are disagreeing with me about Son, but I thought he really tried. And Bentancur obviously scored the goal, then got injured. Good, but who are we going to play in centre midfield against AC Milan? It's going to be Skip and Sarr, isn't it?
Well, you know my feelings on Brian Hill. Why the freaking hell have we got rid of him to Sevilla? I don't know. He scored
yesterday. He was playing left wing back, and he scored. Yeah. Although I have to say it's a little bit of a detriment to one of our old players, Eric Lamela, because he wasn't even in the squad yesterday for Sevilla, which surprised me. I think those injuries have caught up with him, but yeah, I love Coco. He always gave 100%, which is something that he could teach to these players, so-called players, at our club, especially Eric Dyer, that you give 100%. You don't, oh, things are going badly, I'm going to hide. You can't hide. You're in central defence, son. Yeah? 9 fucking years we've had this bloke. Yeah? And he was back up when he came. And then, okay, he came into central midfield under Poch. And yeah, he was good because he dropped back when the other guys were pushing forward. He should not be one of our first choices. He is not good enough.
Not fit for purpose. He's never
been good enough. At least Davis, you know what you get. He's solid. Yeah. He makes a mistake here and there, but he's solid, and I can understand him picking it. Dyer is fucking Dyer.
It's you know, the weird thing is, it's like, I don't know why there seems to be like he's part of the furniture now, but yeah, like literally anybody else but him. I don't know that. Like who brought him in? This is gonna show how old, like how long we've had him. Who selected him? Who bought him?
It was Poch. What? He bought him as a right back.
You sure it's Pochettino, not AVB?
It might have been. No, I'm pretty sure he scored. He made his debut against West Ham when Poch was manager, and he scored the winner at right back.
Oh yeah, back when he had that really short hair and everything. Yeah,
but yeah, him as a right back, he's too big. He's too lumbering.
I saw yesterday and the last couple of games where Conte is trying to get him more forward, so he's like that defensive midfielder, pushing it forward, bringing it out, like he did when he first came to the club, pushing it forward, bringing it out, and it's just like he can't do that anymore. He quite obviously can't do that anymore. And why are you trying to make him into a player that he's not, or like throwback to when he first started? Like, I don't understand what's going on in Conte's head, and he didn't give a bloody press conference after, so he can't answer any questions. So
Stellini did, didn't he?
Yeah, at least Stellini
came well. Conte does not look well.
Yeah, I suppose he had that operation and everything, but like,
why was he there? I don't understand. Why would you be there when you're a sick person and you're in the dressing room and you're like, oh, hang on a minute.
Yeah,
you're not going to inspire it, are you? That Stellini guy actually looks like he wants to, give it some.
Well, Stellini apologised after yesterday's game, which is basically what you want, isn't it? And nothing more, nothing less. And it's not like we had to rush Conte back, is it? Stellini's just won the game against Man City. So, do you know what I mean? Like, what's the rush? Chill out, mate.
So I've heard some whispers that people would be happy with Stellini as manager. It's only a few games. What do you reckon?
It's impossible to tell at this stage. He's had 5 minutes, or relatively 5 minutes in charge, hasn't he? So, and then you only make decisions based on that if you're Chelsea or Watford. You know what I mean? So yeah.
I'm going to see my mate Dave, who's a big Watford supporter, on my birthday in February, and he's not happy.
or even Southampton, who've just got rid of their Nathan Jones after a couple of months in charge. So,
but 7 losses in 8 games. That's alarm bells, isn't it? So I can understand that. I don't think it's too hasty at all. If he'd had a few draws in there, then maybe it would be hasty. But 7 losses in 8 games, that's bad.
Yeah, especially as he looks like some bloke from down the pub who's just accidentally got the manager's job.
Lovely. Cracking. Yeah, but that actually surprises me a little bit. We'll go off on a tangent here a little. Southampton, I think, have got some really decent players. They got Ward-Prowse, they got obviously Walker-Peters, Che Adams. I think with the right supply. He's a decent forward. I'm surprised that they're doing as badly as they are.
Yeah, well, the thing is, they've always been a mid-table team. They're never going to put up any trees in terms of what they achieve, and they've always been a feeder team, haven't they, for Liverpool or whoever?
Us as well.
Yeah, us as well. So it's still, despite that, it's still surprising to see them at the bottom there. You know, I'd expect to see like a West Ham or an Everton at the bottom, because they seem to be rudderless at the minute. But I think they'll be all right once they get the equivalent of like a Sam Allardyce in to get them back up. Yeah. They just need to invest a bit more money, get a decent manager in, and get a better spine of the team back in. That is, of course, and said the players that you just mentioned, as if they stay. So, because I wouldn't, I'd be off if I was Ward-Prowse. I'd be like, yeah, I'm available.
Yeah, but Ward-Prowse, a lot of people go on about him, how great a player he is. I think he's highly average, apart from his free kicks.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd get him in just for the free kicks. But
can you afford to lose a player who does more work in the middle and a guy who's going to score a couple of free kicks?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, if we swap him for
again, we're talking about Ericsson here, aren't we?
Yeah. Do that. We don't need Perisic's free kick yesterday was decent, I thought. We've got a free kick taker there, I think.
That was definitely one of the only things he did.
Yeah.
It was. I don't think we would have been worse with Sessignon there, because I think Sessignon actually is able to tackle better than Perisic. I know, I know you don't agree, but Sessignon is better defensively, I think, than Perisic is. And that's what that's what we need. Because you can't rely on those three guys at the back to back you up. Maybe I'm talking out my arse. I don't know.
Yeah. So how old's your daughter?
25.
Your daughter's 25.
No, she's 6. 7 in April.
She could tackle Sessignon. She could. Honestly, she could tackle him, and Sess would be like, they'd be like, shoulder to shoulder, and so they're about the same height. And Sessignon would throw himself to the ground looking for a free kick. He would.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, can you take any positives out of yesterday?
Well, we found a free kick taker, decent, Perisic. So that's good. I think I want to think that that's a one-off for Perisic. I hope to God that's a one-off in terms of. I think it was just attitude. We know he's got the skills.
I think he's done it a couple of times this season.
Is it?
Not really. I don't think he seems to show up one game and then the next game he doesn't. But yeah, well, yeah. I'm not just having a rant. I apologise. It's
all right. I'm not taking any notes of Porro's performance yesterday. Full debut. You can't expect a hat trick or anything like that. I know. Everybody has pressure on that, and everybody looks to for a good debut. But it's his first game, for crying out loud. Let's not put any pressure on the lad. So I'm willing to just discount that, draw a line under that. So that's almost like a neutral, not a positive, I suppose. Forster had a good game. Did nothing wrong really. He
doesn't get down quick enough. He could have saved a couple of those. Hugo would have saved a couple of those, I reckn. He's not as agile as Hugo is. Yeah, maybe he's not throwing the ball in his net like Hugo has been.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I think for Mendy's goal, I think he was
stop that. No one was stopping that. No.
Yeah, and I think he positioned himself right. I think he, when corners came in, he had a big hand on it, and then even if punches away went 20 yards, 25, 30 yards. So. I think he's a good fit for us, and I wouldn't moan if when Lloris is very soon inevitable retirement, I'm quite happy for him to step in. Like you said, I think Son tried hard. He won back a few balls and battled hard, went through a few people, played some decent balls. Kane did all right. Kane did all right by his standards. I mean, he played some magnificent crossfield passes as per usual. But I don't know. I haven't seen the stats yet on yesterday's game. How many shots did we have on target? Do we know?
I haven't got a clue. I have to say I switched it off when it went to 3-1. So,
yeah, I stuck around to 4-1. Yeah, I was like, no, not having this. I was so angry. I was just...
Let's have a look. We had 4 shots on target and 52% of the ball. And they had how many yellow cards? They had 5. Surely it was 7. It seemed like one of their players was getting booked every 5 minutes. But yeah, and now Bentancur injuries, and I'm lacing up my boots.
Yeah, it's that's a real shame. That I don't know the extent of the injury yet, but
it looked bad though, didn't it?
Yeah, I'm surprised he walked off. To be honest, I think it was like adrenaline in walking off. I think he wanted to come back on. He quite obviously wanted to come back on, but looking at it, it's like, mate, that I don't know what that is technically, but that looks
ACL.
Yeah. Well, isn't ACL the front of it? It looked like it's the back of the.
No, the ACL is the back of the ankle. So
yeah, and I would tell you actually,
he was the one who caused it, wasn't he? He went in with that tackle, and whacked the other guy's leg. So it's probably a shin or something. I don't know. Shin shouldn't be too bad. Wouldn't have thought. If it's the ACL, that's gonna be at least 6 months out.
Yeah.
But what can we say? I'm here. I'm ready. I only smoke about 5 fags a day and drink maybe 6 or 7 pints. What do you reckon? I'll get sent off in about 2 minutes.
The thing is, Jens, I think you'll find there's already one crazy Danish player in the midfield there. So
yeah, but we got Skip and Sarr. I'd be quite happy to see them come in. Not for Bentancur. I would have been quite happy to see them come in for Højbjerg because, again, I don't think he played well yesterday.
I think he did all right. I mean, he did his usual thing. The thing is with PEH, he's like he busies himself about, makes a nuisance of himself, and he literally, if he could shove the player off with his hands and pick the ball up and wrestle it away from him in a wrestling match in speedos, then he bloody would. And I think he did that yesterday. And let's not forget, that's what he does. That's how he set up the assist against Man City for Kane. Even though he was like on the floor when he passed it to him, that's what he's all about. He's messy and he disrupts that midfield. Whereas, Bentancur is the opposite of that. And I suppose Skip to a slightly lesser extent they're like the steadiness. They're like the antithesis of it to balance it out. The steady, the rock, the kind of like, let's all calm down and play nice, neat passes and keep the play going. Or nice crossfield, long, accurate passes. And that's after, Højbjerg's won the ball back.
Yes.
So I think Skip could fit in there. I'm not sure.
Well. I think Sarr will. Sarr's going to be a big player.
Yeah. I think I've not seen enough of Sarr to be impressed yet.
Oh, really? Yeah, I think he looks strong. He's languid. He reminds me a little bit of Anthony Gardner, which is not a great comparison. Yeah. But the way that he runs, but he has the composure on the ball for a young guy as well. I think he's great at like hoovering up the ball in our defensive end, and he plays it simple. I was going to say he reminds me a little bit of Moussa Dembele there, but Dembele is he was more of a he never lost the ball. I've got the ball, I'm just going to play around with it and I'll pass it sideways. But still, one of the best midfielders I have ever seen at Spurs is Dembele.
Yeah,
obviously.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you got Hoddle, you got other people like that, but yeah, Dembele was just it was just beautiful the way that he glided around with the ball at his feet, and nutmeg people, but then he'd always pass it back, which I always found such a shame because he actually started out as I'm not sure if it was a winger or a centre forward. And I think he could have scored so many goals if he'd actually played in those positions.
Well, the thing is, like, he was like a video game, wasn't he? It's just like, he was scrolling along the screen there. It's brilliant. But let's not forget, he played in that era where that wasn't really done. It was about, possession-based football.
Yeah.
And, building it up and all that. There wasn't really that kind of stuff that Højbjerg does and Bentancur does these days, which is, they do what he does, but spray it out. They've got that incisive, cut through ball. It just wasn't done then. It wasn't. I wouldn't say it wasn't invented, but it wasn't. Nobody was doing that style of play then. And I think even now he could come back and do a job. He could be like Bentancur's backup. But having said that, we've got Skip. I think
going to be good.
I think Skip is the closest to Bentancur. I think we should give him. I'm an optimist, really. So I think I know he's had almost nothing average games the last couple of games he's had, Skip. But I think give him a chance. And if you say to him, look, you've got to make Bentancur fight for his place to come back after injury, then he'd be like, yes, he'd be like right, I'm in. Yeah. Let's have it. Because we've seen it, haven't we? We've seen it with Skip.
Definitely. Yeah, last season or season before, was it? Last season. And even the cameos that he's played this season, he is so, he's there, he's harrying, he wins the ball back and he goes forward, which I think is absolutely brilliant. That is he doesn't have the passing ability of Bentancur, but he's one of he's come up from the U team, and I'd like to see Conte stick with him. I don't think Conte really likes youth players, does he? I mean, being Italian, he prefers players who are in their 40s or whatever. Because that seems to be the Italian way, that they prefer to have experience rather than youth.
That's why Dyer's still there.
Yeah, but he's not even that old, is he? And he's just got worse.
Well, experience doesn't mean age, does it? Then it's like, I don't. It's not a thing anymore. Somebody needs to tell Conte that's not a thing anymore. Like, just because you've been 9 years at the club doesn't mean you should be first choice every single week.
I don't think that's Conte. That's Levy. That's definitely Levy. Because
you look at our defence and you look at the transfer window, and I was thinking, like, why is Doherty gone when he was like the best of the worst, and when all the others haven't? And it's like, well, I thought almost kind of like I was sat next to myself, and myself said to me, no one wants them, knobhead. Like, nobody wants them. That's why they're still there. Nobody wants Dyer. Nobody wants Sanchez. The mistakes that they make are really obvious for everybody to see, and that includes other clubs.
Yeah.
You wouldn't, would you? If you're a manager of even West Ham or whatever, like you wouldn't take them. There's too much of a liability.
To be honest, I think that teams in Europe would take them. But it's Mr. Levy saying, right, I paid 50 million, I want 55. Mate, he's worth 15.
Yeah. There's that. Yeah. That's definitely a Levi mentality thing, then.
Yeah.
We're in that stalemate, aren't we? We're in that catch-22 where we can't get rid because he won't let them go. But also, if we play them, we lose. Simple as that.
Someone was saying the other day, this is like the 90s. We go out and beat the best team in the league, and then we get spanked the next game. But in the 90s, it was actually exciting. because we knew that we couldn't compete with the Manchester Uniteds and the Liverpools and, dare I say, Gooners. But when we played them, we actually gave them a game. It was just we were terrible against the lower league clubs. Not the low, the lower clubs in the Premiership. Now we actually have the clout to be able to mix it with the big boys. We are making a fortune. We have the clout to go out and speculate and accumulate. And we have done. Okay, Lo Celso and Don Bailey, absolute failures. So that's a failure on Mr. Levy's behalf because he didn't invest in the scouting team. Once we lost Paul Mitchell, the scouting team went to absolute shite.
And he's admitted that, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Did you see the interview this week? I read the interview.
But that was because, I had to spend some money on some buying up half of Tottenham because I want to be mayor. I don't care about the football team anymore. It's all about Beyonce. It's all about the Eagles versus Dave's whatever. Yeah, the Minnesota Vikings. Wait. You're New York Giants, aren't you? Yeah. But it's so sad. I know that Scholar wasn't brilliant. I know that what's his name? Sugar wasn't brilliant. Sugar saved us. But it seemed they actually had a little bit of ambition for the football team. Whereas Levy just seems to have ambition for making money out of the stadium. They don't even have the football club sign bit now. It used to be Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. Now it's just Tottenham Hotspur. The sign outside the ground. That shows you where we are going.
And do you know what? That would be okay if he'd assigned somebody to look after the recruitment side of things that was any good. And that just hasn't happened, like you say, since Paul Mitchell. And he's been stupid errors like Paratici, right? Regardless of how good Paratici is at getting players in, and which is at best 50-50 at the minute, he's corrupt. He's corrupt.
Yeah.
Like you must have known this. If you'd have done your homework, you must have known this when you first approached him to come into Spurs, because all the dealings back in Italy have been going on for years when he was in charge of them. And
he's leaving.
And like you just ask around, like, what's this guy like? He's not corrupt or anything, is he? He's not involved in anything dodgy, is he? Oh yes, he is. No, you didn't ask.
Great. That means we can get him cheaper.
Yeah, probably. Probably did.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus! Like I said before on here, like I hope now that Paratici's here that we start getting scrutinised, and fingers crossed. Obviously, all the dealings with Paratici / Levy have been clean, but that stigma leads to Levy getting ousted, and just like you brought a stain on our reputation. We're getting you out. We're getting a new chairman in, hopefully.
Yeah.
Because I've got no problem. I've got no problem if Levy wants to concentrate on the branding and
exactly.
Yeah, it's a business
side. Stay out of the football side.
Yeah, exactly, and just don't pretend you care about the football. But he's admitted in that interview this week that the recruitment side of things hasn't been great, and it's like, well,
that's kind of your fault, isn't it, son?
Yeah.
Don't try and blame it on someone else. If you'd hired the right people who actually scouted, Undon Bailey, absolutely brilliant player on his day, but if you'd scouted him, all of his old coaches said, no, he doesn't have the desire. Doesn't want to play. He loves the money, but he doesn't want to play. And yeah, what happens? We go and sign him 50 million. He's playing 10 minutes at most for Napoli. Yeah. What money are we going to get for him? Nothing. And he's this master effing businessman. Levy. No, he's not. He's a little man who thinks he's big, and he's yeah.
And it's I don't know why he's carrying on. Like, it's embarrassing for him now. Like,
yeah, it must be.
Like, where's your self-respect? You know what I mean? Just, I don't know how he can pull himself out of it. Like, it all comes down to recruiting the recruiters, doesn't it? Like, that's what he's done a bad job of, recruiting the people that recruit players.
Exactly.
And you know, so many other teams have done a better job of it than us over a long period of time. And it's just like, you know, where would we be now if we'd got that right? If just one of them right since Paul Mitchell, you know, just one of them, and we've had trophies. Let's face it.
Yeah.
Was that?
But I mean, that Hitchin guy who said, "I absolutely hate the transfer window." You're a fucking director of football. How can you hate the transfer window? Come on!
I hate January.
And Levy hired him.
You fat twat.
Yeah, sorry about that. I put on a bit of.
No. Like, you don't even say that to like anybody at the club, let
your
alone
friend.
on camera.
You don't even say it to your wife.
No,
it's your job.
But he's on camera. Oh, I hate January. Like, what? This is your job.
Yeah, funny enough, January hates you as well. And Jai and Nkudu and all of those players you brought in, they fucking hate you.
Got an opportunity twice a year to shine, to show the boss that you're worthy of that fucking salary. And you go on camera and say that you hate it. Get out, mate.
That's a bit like me with my job at the moment, but anyway. We digress. So, AC Milan on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Who's going to play in midfield?
I think Sarr. I like the look of Sarr. I'm not sure about Basuma. I still haven't seen anything to impress me from.
No, he's injured. He's out for the season.
Oh, right. Yeah, of course. Yeah. So we've seen, I think Skipper's done Champions League games before and impressed, if I remember rightly. Yeah. So let's bring him in. We get to see what's happening with Bentancur. So you never know. It might just be a simple.
Yeah, you never know. That's the thing. Yeah.
Let's be optimistic about that.
Romero's available, so that's good.
I think Perisic could be a good shout if he moves up a bit and bring Ben Davies behind him and they cover each other.
Yeah.
Because we need some decent crosses whipped in, and he can do that.
And Porro as well. If Porro plays, because I think he'll be more used to the, you know, he's not going to Leicester on a cold Saturday afternoon. He's going to Milan, which would probably be about 14, 15 degrees more the temperature that he's used to, and I'm not saying that Italian football and Spanish football is that similar, but it's more the culture that he'll be used to. So I think he'd be a good shout. Yeah,
absolutely. I think it's his time to shine, isn't it? Like, you know, he'll be in his element there. He'll be very useful. I think I saw a couple of flashes of what he can do. You know, I saw him beat a couple of players and really wanting to go forward with it and stuff. And it went wrong, but you know, you kind of like, oh, okay, I see what you're trying to do, and that could be useful in the future. You know, once you kind of got yourself bedded in. I think it's got to be all guns blazing in. I don't know what's up with Koulibaly. He needs to kick up the arse and saying, you know, don't mess this up on Tuesday. I think we more or less keep the same team, apart from obviously maybe a replacement for Bentancur, and just sort out the back four. I think Royale in because he's quick and loves to tackle, and they'll hate Royale.
Do you think he can play? A lot of people are saying that maybe we should put him at right centre back. Do you think he has the discipline to play that?
No, not at all. And he hasn't got one thing that Sanchez is good as, I suppose half good at, is intercepting those balls. Like Dyer in the old days, where he's
very quick, isn't he? Yeah.
Stand tall, be in the right place at the right time, and get that header intercepting header. The problem is it just goes to the wrong people. It just gives it away straight away. But I think Royale should stick where he is, and cut in when he needs to. I think he'd rinse down. I think we'd be nice and secure on that our right hand side down their left.
Yeah.
Because they will be looking at today's game or yesterday's game and licking their lips, thinking we can have that down the left hand side there. And I think putting Royale in and bringing Porro in a bit will be ideal. It will really stop the rot there.
They have lost 1, 2, 3, 4 out of their last 5.
Yeah.
Getting a spanking at home by Sassuolo. Being beaten 4-0 away at Lazio. And losing 3-0 at home to Inter. Now, that's got to hurt. So, yeah. They got Giroud up front. He obviously knows how to score against us. Simon Kjær, one of my favourite players ever. Obviously, the Danish captain. Maybe not so much anymore. He's past it. The rest of them, this Leao guy, apparently he's pretty good. Portuguese guy. Yeah, it's going to be. I think it's going to be an interesting game. I wish I was going out there. I really enjoyed going out to Lyon when we were in the Europa League. Going out to abroad for football is always good fun. You always meet lots of nice people, and maybe not so many nice people, but. Yeah, I miss doing that. Anyway, I think we're going to wrap it up now, mate, because you've got to head off in a minute, haven't you?
Yeah.
It's a shame that I thought that Ian was turning up and has as well, but no worries. So, final words, sir.
I think everybody just needs to do their basic jobs right, and we'll beat teams like Leicester and AC Milan. AC Milan, let's bury them while they're down. Just everybody just do their basic jobs right, and that includes Conte. Like, if you want consistency, pick the same team week in, week out, with maybe 1, 2, changes at the most, and even then,
when you need it
by injury, yeah. For God's sake, let's just do the fucking basics right and get it done. Let's get it done.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you very much for taking your time out to join us today, Simon. And anybody who's watching, please like, subscribe, press the bell thingy if you want to watch us. Simon, you got anything to plug?
No, mate. Just no, nothing to plug. I'm not in the mood for bloody plugging. This is depressing.
That sounds a bit saucy, to be honest, but
That's a Saturday night thing, mate.
I was going to say Saturday morning, Sunday morning, like 2 o'clock. But anyway.
Just thanks for having me, mate. I love coming on here. It's good therapy for me.
Yeah, it's always nice to have you as well, mate. And I'd just like to finish off with saying, keep the faith. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.